What's up guys, it's Adam Ellis back with another YouTube tutorial. Today we're going to work on counter melodies. So yeah, we're going to work on a client's track. He sent it me over, he removed his counter melody, wasn't quite right, and I showed him a couple of little tricks and tips, wrote a counter melody. So I've deleted it and I thought we'd start again. So let's hop into Logic and let's get cracking. Cool, okay, so we're in Logic and let's have a little bit of a play of his track. Sounds really good, really nice kick and bass and mids and etc. Quite stripped back. And yeah, let's just write a counter melody. No idea what I'm going to do. I've got my little piano open. I'm not musically gifted. I have to just fuck about until it's ready, which is probably reassuring for a lot of you guys. No Giuseppe just sat here playing crazy good melodies. So what we're going to do, we're going to set it up. Let's remove PSP Vintage Warmer. This is my advanced setting, but for like all my big tunes, I didn't do it like this. As you develop as a producer, you just need to try new things, otherwise you get bored in the studio. So I used to just do it like this: female vocal A on the master, sorry, on the bus channel, Arts acoustic reverb. I don't know why there's a gain on there. Adaptive limiter. So we've just got a limiter. Nothing's being gained, just as like a you know, just in case. The way I see it is, imagine you're walking down the high street and you've got a bucket full of water, and it's you know, it's I don't know, 3/4 of the way up. Good chance it's not going to spill, but just in case it spills, there's a lid on it. That's just my way of thinking. It probably doesn't do anything. You could probably even take it off. Right, so yeah, LFO tool, just a little bit. I always like go to 3 blocks down. Oops. So we've got 1 block, 2 block. Where's 3 blocks? About, you know, about 2 blocks. It doesn't need to be crazy. Just a little bit of side chaining. This is how Giuseppe did it in this tutorial. So I was like, hey, I'm going to copy, because Giuseppe's probably, in my opinion, got the best sounder is in Trance, the fullest sound, the cleanest sound. Anyway, yeah, so that's the bus channel. We'll go to the track itself. We'll take off the delay. We might not need it. We have my standard EQ, 130 cut at the bottom, 18 cut at the top. We have a compressor, which will adjust. We want about 3 decibels of gain reduction, just to make the sound slightly fuller. Not needed, though. Again, for all the big tracks and Napalm Poets, the Tears of Lease, the Set to Sales, you know, all the tracks that I had on, all the ones on Carnage, no compression at all. Again, watch Giuseppe's tutorial, and he just has about 3 decibels of gain, of attenuation, which basically means the track's being squashed about 3 decibels. Basically just makes it a little bit bigger. I can't really tell a difference. If you basically, I did a test where you compress, you know, so you export a lead non-compressed and note the output, let's say -6.8, and then you compress the sound and adjust for level so it's the same. I couldn't tell a massive difference. So sure, it compresses it, but it makes it louder. But I just guess over the course of like 60, 70 tracks, it must make things a little bit bigger. But yeah, I kind of just did it and I've stuck with it. Maybe I should stop doing it. I should really do some more tests. Might actually do like a video just on compression where we test, is compression really necessary? I think I've already done a video about that, but I feel like we should really do some more compression tests, maybe on 6 or 7 different channels, and then export a track with compression and then without compression, with all the levels being the same. That might be a good idea. Anyway, so first thing you need to do is get a good pluck. Now I'm going to save time. I'm just going to use a silent pluck. I call it my Jock pluck. It's not Jock's pluck. He didn't send it me. It just reminds me of Jock's early trance tracks. If you would like this silent preset, you can email me and I'll send you the preset over. Or if you're on Logic, I'll send you the channel strip. The email will be at the end of the video. So yeah, really nice pluck. Let's open it up. Just sounds great off the bat. I'm going to sit back. I might look a bit weird if you're watching the camera. And again, I don't really know any music theory. I just guess and just play about with it until it works. Let's see how it sounds. So we might need a bit more. Right. There's a good chance I might embarrass myself here. People thinking, press that note, press this note. But again, these lessons are about just being real. This is what happens in the studio, in my studio. I don't know. I should have learned music theory. I've tried before. I just haven't got the capacity to do it. My memory is just so bad. Anyway, I'm going to put the delay on. It's just replica delay, just a standard ping pong delay. as you see, I can not play in time. So yeah, all good fun in it. I like to feel like it's reassuring for you guys sat there thinking, oh, Adam's like, you know, a fairly well-known producer, you know, made some decent tracks, and must be reassuring for you guys to see that I you know, takes time. I'm not just some kind of whiz kid or anything like that. I'm sure people are, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can just play into the piano, but many can't. The cat's going to try and walk across the screen here. Let's see if she does. Does she get in shot? Sorry about that. She's now going to walk that way. Baby. Come on, I'm doing this tutorial. Let's say hello to the camera. This is Jaharis. My beautiful little girl. Not so little. Go on, bugger off. So, let's get this right. Pretty happy with that. So we'll just go to MIDI transform. She's jumped back again. No, sit there. So I'm just fixing the V velocity. Nope, sit there. You're gonna stay here. Fix note length as well. There you go. For plucks, I like them about you know, a beat. There's one bar here, 4 beats in a bar. Something like that sounds nice. Let's see if... To be fair there, the track that was not audible without compression until I turned the cutoff all the way up. I added a compression and all of a sudden you could hear the notes play when the cutoff was down. So that's actually quite interesting. And again, someone at my level should really know all this, but you're learning every day. You know, I'm good at making music, but I don't know each individual plugin, and it's, you know, everything actually perfect. And again, some could see this as a bit embarrassing, really, but I like to just see it as you got to fake it till you make it kind of thing, and hopefully it's reassuring to you guys out there. I actually pay people to make my music for me. Not really. Well, let's turn the compressor off and on. It doesn't sound any different this time. Honestly, making music is such a mindfuck. I swear on my life, when I turned it up before, it sounded like it made a massive difference, and there it didn't, so God knows. Anyway, so we've got the plug sounding nice. It's just really simple. Put a little run in here. It's really weird. It just doesn't seem to be working. I don't know why. It doesn't seem to be widening it. I've got the fucking high pass all the way up. That's why. Honestly. One of them days. Sounding really nice. I want it to kind of cut through a bit more. I don't really do much additive and subtractive EQing. I like to just use processing. I just find it easier. Of course, it's less control. So if I needed that control, I would just go in and use an EQ. But I just like to keep things simple, as you guys know by now. So I'd like to use this a novel set character on the channel. And there's something important to talk about as well in a second. But we're just going to use, I think it's already set to the default. And I just like to use Mix Crisper. We'll put it on just in case. What I see a lot of clients doing when they show me the project, if they're in Logic or I get them to share the screen when we're doing a lesson, I often find people will be putting like two Maggie Q4s on a channel, 2 Arts Acoustic. And as a beginner, I remember doing the same. Your ears are not developed enough yet, so you can't hear things in your track as you do in other tracks. So to compensate for that, you add more and more processing. But the problem is when you add, something has to give. Think about it when I don't know what age range you're watching this, but when I was a kid, there was a game called Mortal Kombat. And if I remember rightly, you could build a fighter and you have like so many levels. You have like strength, endurance, KO power, agility, etc. You can't have them all at 100. You have to have like one at 80, one at 60, one at like 30. And that's the kind of way music works. If you add something has to disappear. If I had loads of low end to a track, the highs are going to disappear. It's just the way that it works. I guess, I don't know, is it physics, maybe? Some kind of science shit? But yeah, so adding and adding and adding, all you're doing is making the track sound harsher and harsher and harsher. You want warmth. And if you listen to my older tracks, especially my early tracks like on Carnage and like my remix of Matt Bodwidge, Still by My Side, that track, it sounds awesome, but there's no warmth. It's really thin and there's just no depth to it. It's because back then, even though I was good enough to release on labels, I was just over processing everything because my ears, even 5 years in, hadn't developed yet. It took me about 8 years, and so yeah, don't over process. But in this case, I feel like it's needed. I've turned the cutoff up to its full amount. It's still not right. Cool, so I've noticed there was a bit too much reverb, so I've turned that down in the plugin. I'm never going to turn it down here because any other counter melody will now be affected in my track. So adjust it in the plugin if needed. So we've got the EQ, which isn't doing anything apart from removing the lows and a little bit of high. We've got the delay. Novelty character is just basically essentially that extra EQ, but using the presets for me, I just find easier. It generally works. If it's not working, then try doing additive EQ. I just never think it sounds as good. So widener, just to take the track, the pluck really wide. And there's no rules to this. Like, I wish I could sit here and tell you, right, counter 1, 30%, and counter 2. It's just, honestly, just messing about. Like, there's really no rules. Just play about with it. And on the day, see what sounds best. That's the best advice I can give you. And just a little bit of compression. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, you've kind of cheated. You've got a preset. So, okay, let's go through some other... Let's go through something else. Go to synths. Oh, why Nexus is there. Go to Aspire. Don't know what I'm looking for here, but let's just have a little look. The plug. great little sound, that. So it's a great way there to kind of do a layer. You've got like a deep, low kind of pluck and then one underneath. What we'll do is we'll automate that up in a bit. What I just want to do is make some quick changes. So on this second time round, we'll just make some changes. So you're interrupting. Come on. Off you go. So just a small variation there, nothing crazy, but again, it's just about telling a story and developing. And obviously I'm running through this really fast, but yeah, sounding really nice. So what we'll do is we want to find our peak cutoff on the first sound. And then we're going to mix it in. We're then going to find a peak cutoff on the second sound. We've already found it. So we'll join the automation now. There's not much room, to be honest with you, on the automation. But we're going to get that to come up right at the end. build slowly. So this is how you kind of just develop a track and a count melody and intro, how I do it anyway. So a cutoff hasn't worked. It's just not strong enough. So I'm just going to use an EQ. Cool. So you can then obviously develop it from there, but I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, just running back over it. Simple kind of low pluck, simple high pluck. Nothing too crazy with the processing. I made sure that the second pluck, obviously the widener, I made sure it was less than the first one, just because it didn't sound right before. Compression. It's actually going wild and being compressed way more than I would normally would, but it sounds good, so it's not distorting or anything like that, so just going to leave it. Again, I always try and be specific. I always try and be specific. Can't speak. I always try and be specific. But in reality, a decibel here, a decibel there, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, this pluck has got -6 decibels of compression rather than -3. But did I know that without looking at the compressor? No. Like, it's small variables. Like, don't worry about it too much. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Okay, so there's just a quick roundup of how I do counter melodies. Keeping it super simple, just obviously a very basic melody, nothing too fancy. But when you start developing that and adding, you know, a second melody over the top of it, that's when things get interesting. You add your chord changes, your percussion, your acids, etc. It's going to sound really good. So, as always, we're going to give away a free lesson. We've had some really nice free lessons with some people so far. I've met some really nice people around the world, and we've just kind of had a chat or gone over their tracks. Maybe I've showed them some of my tracks or given them some advice. So this what is wrong with my speech today? See, this is real shit, no fancy editing. So yeah, this week's winner, I'm just going to double check it, my memory's so bad. It's Nicky Decker 89. So Nicky, drop my manager Chris an email. His email address will be above on the screen. And as always, if you'd like to know more about my lessons, or you've got any questions, or you want the silent preset, you can email me, tutorials@adamellisdj.com. Other than that, I'm thinking about doing a video where I get maybe 8 to 10 people on, and it just be like a chat and kind of maybe like a Q&A, but just like between a specific amount of people, and make a bit of a video out about it. Honestly, it's Saturday and I didn't even have a drink last night, so yeah. But so what I'm thinking, you need to be around the UK time zone so we can get a date. We'll probably do it on like a Saturday morning or something. So if you like 2 or 3 hours around the UK time zone, or if you're willing to get up early or stay up late, feel free to drop me an email. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get around 10 people. I'm sure the cat's here again. This video has been crazy today. Look at the people. I wanted to get around 10 people on Skype or Zoom or something like that, and basically just have a discussion about music, like about trance music, what people are liking, what people aren't liking, in a non-negative way. Question, you know, and just like get a little bit of discussion. I've never seen anyone doing that. So if you'd like to be part of that, drop me an email, tutorials@adamellisdj.com, and just put in the subject, you know, live stream or something like that, and just express your interest. And yeah, what I'll do is I'll get back to you and we'll get a date booked in that fits around everyone. There's an app we can use which you can schedule dates, and whichever date most people can do that matches my date, we'll stick with that date. But yeah, if you're interested in doing that and you'd like to jump on a Zoom and have a chat for 10 to 15 minutes, it'll probably go on a bit longer really, and just talk about music in general, production, the scene, goals. I think it'd just be really cool, rather than doing a live stream and having to set it up on YouTube, which I will do in the future. I'm just going to test the waters a little bit, see the interest. There's about 4,500 subscribers on this channel right now, so you know, if 10% of those people message, that'd be, well, if 1% message, that should be quite a lot of people. So I'm hoping some people get in touch, and we'll assess people's interest. But yeah, I'm rambling on a bit, but I hope you enjoyed that one, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.